everyone. Welcome to the Not a Lonely Coffee Break podcast. We are your hosts. I'm Maddie.
I'm Meaghan. We're a podcast about coffee and work, but make it quick.
So, Meaghan, we have some pretty exciting news for our listeners. And some of you may already be aware of this because you are very much engaged with us. But Meaghan and I have officially joined as Not a Lonely Coffee Break on TikTok.
Wow.
So we are. Yeah. Can we go viral? So we are decided to take the plunge. We were a little nervous about it because Meaghan and I tend, when it comes to TikTok, you guys, Meaghan and I both tend to just like to watch TikToks.
We like to watch TikToks, period.
We've been a little nervous about making TikToks, which is kind of, you might be making fun of us a little bit because here we are on making a whole show where you see our face and we record ourselves saying things. Why would we be so nervous about TikTok? I don't know. I just am. I'm just nervous about TikTok. So please be patient with us, but follow us because we have posted some great stuff already.
Oh, yeah. We're at Not a Lonely Coffee Break. We've been posting some things that over the last couple of weeks with the tattoo collab, bookstore, and we'll probably go through some throwbacks on some episodes y'all may have missed, our favorite reels. So y'all find us on TikTok at Not a Lonely Coffee Break, and let's get viral, coffee breakers.
We've had a lot going on, Meaghan, in the month of May. And we are just going to continue the fun because you guys, Meaghan and I, and Not a Lonely Coffee Break, we're going to be at Dallas Pride. So Dallas Pride is coming up on June 6th. And for anyone who wasn't already aware of this, this is going to be the first year that they have moved it to downtown Dallas. So it's going to be kind of brand new for all of us because it's never been there before. So it's in multiple, the community festival is going to be in multiple parks across downtown Dallas all day. I think 11 to 6 p.m. is when the community festival is going to be taking place. Meaghan and I will be located in, what park are we in, Meaghan?
We are at the Pacific Plaza. That's going to be your more with, you're going to have artisan vendors around us so you can go shopping, the community organizations like us. So if you're looking for social groups and ways to have fun, and then all the Pride merchandise you can have. They even have a karaoke stage. Can I see y'all
karaoke fans? Where y'all at?
Where you at? Yeah, I know you're listening. I know who you are.
We know.
They're going to have pet adoptions in our park, the food truck, and they're even going to have a quote unquote big kids playground. So if you have like those more bigger kids, like not the babies, okay, we don't talk to babies. But, you know, if you have some of your older kids, your tweens and so forth, they'll probably have some stuff out there for them. But if you have an admission, the festival wristband, you should be able to get to the Pacific Plaza and we will be there.
Absolutely. And I think one of the perks to this plaza is it's close to the DART station. So if you aren't wanting to deal with downtown Dallas, traffic, parking, anything like that, you can figure out which DART gate to take and we'll be right there.
Yeah, it's going to be the St. Paul station if you want to know where your stop is. Yeah, it's going to be the St. Paul station to take you to Pacific Plaza. You're welcome.
Thank you for looking that information up for us. So yeah, you can take the DART, come chill with us. And then the parade. So everything is actually happening on one day this year. I know usually we kind of split it up over 2 days, but this year we're cramming it all into one day to celebrate Pride. So hang out with us during the day from 11 to 6 and then get ready for the parade. It's going to be an evening parade. I actually am really looking forward to that because it's always so hot.
Freaking hot.
And so I actually am hoping that having like a sunset parade, we might see it be a little bit cooler, even though it is still going to be hot.
We're talking like from 100 to 94 degrees.
Yeah, 94.
Let's a crisp 94.
A nice little breeze there. But I mean, I don't know. We'll see. I know that it's new for Dallas being that way, but I know that like Houston and Austin have previously done sunset parades. So I'm hoping that this turns out to be a great thing for Dallas and maybe we continue having a sunset parade. We'll see.
Yeah, unfortunately, we will not be walking the parade this year, to our knowledge. We've decided until we order a little like electric cart to scoot
Yeah.
us around, we're not going to be running down the road like we were last year.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
It
No,
was a hot take.
we've decided that we would just prefer to be spectators of the parade, at least for now. Things could
Hmm.
change. However, if your group is marching in the parade, let us know so we can cheer you on.
Hmm.
And if you want us to walk with you, reach out to us.
We love friends.
We
100%.
love friends.
I
We
like to
love
throw
friends.
beads. Yes.
We like to participate in the parade for sure.
Hmm. We actually throw like K-cups,
Yeah.
some
Yeah, yeah,
coffee. We'll
yeah.
throw coffee at you.
We will throw coffee.
We seem to surprise people with that. So get excited.
So we're really excited. We're really looking forward to it. We always love a good Pride festival and being there with goodies and prizes and just really getting to meet everyone who listens to the show or finding new listeners for the show. So Pride, be there. Come celebrate your identity with us and bring some friends.
So, Maddie, this month has been a long month and we're at the end.
We're
Thank
at the end.
goodness. Goodbye, May.
Yeah.
Appreciate you. It was Mental Health Month, so if y'all have been
Mhm.
listening to the last couple episodes, we've brought on special parents of trans youth who talked about, the issues going on with trans youth and parents, things going on that are affecting their lives. So then we were like, you know what? This mental health thing, it's Mental Health Month. We're going to really bring it. We brought on Camp Haven, Room for Change. We got that tattoo collab going on still this month.
Mhm.
If you're listening to this, and right now's the chance. Go get your tattoos. And
Yeah,
I'm going to be honest.
there's only a few more days left. So make sure that if you haven't gotten your tattoo, go now. Right
They're
now, go
so
book it.
cute. They're so cute. And portion of the proceeds will be going to Hope Store New Beginnings, a domestic
Mhm.
violence prevention center that serves Collin County and Dallas County. Huge, huge impact you could be making either through Camp Haven's supplies wish list in our bio link or through Hope Store New Beginning, the tattoo collab. But really, mental health is in the heart of me and Maddie. That's how we
Yeah.
met, was through mental health impact. And
Mhm.
so this is so important to us because we know right now in this moment we're going through so much. And
So much.
I think having the ability to know that there are resources around you
Mhm.
and that there are people around you who do accept you, who do want to see you succeed and do the best that you can with with whatever we can do for each other, and to support each other. So I think like right now more than ever, building community is a big thing. Yeah, whew, it's been heavy.
No, it has. It's been a really wild, honestly, year. Last couple of months, all year. I mean, we've previously talked about how like we even feel like we have whiplash, kind of going back and
Hmm.
forth with everything that's going on. And Megan and I kind of talked about this offline. Is that it just feels so heavy. I worded it like I'm just stuck in my social worky feelings, and y'all, that's mental health. That's my mental health, and so I think that just like Megan said, it's so important right now that we continue to build community. We continue to highlight these groups, these organizations, these people that are in our community that are still out there saying, "We got you," or "You are welcome here," or people who are even willing to say, you know, this is new to us, but we want to do better. And so I have kind of been thinking about kind of what are some things that we could consider, when it comes to taking care of our own mental health. If we're in a workplace, what are some workplace things that we could see help us build this community? Because if we aren't feeling so great in our personal lives, that's going to carry over into how we work, how we show up at work, how we show up for the people in our lives. So I thought we could maybe talk a little bit about some things that could be helpful in helping
Yeah.
us build this community. And we've talked about some of this stuff before, but I think bringing it back to the surface is always a good idea.
Yeah. Really for me, I've been so freaking exhausted. Like,
Mhm.
every day, I'm just like, "I need a nap." Like
I know.
I'm gonna start carrying around one of those
A
kindergarten
little mat.
mats. I don't think they do naps anymore, but I'm gonna find some, and
We
I'm gonna
should
have a mat.
normalize that. We should normalize
Bring
that.
your mat to work.
Workplace, bring your mat to work and have a 15-minute time where we just turn the lights off and we all close our eyes and take a nap.
Like, honestly, like, sometimes okay, in the nonprofit world, right,
Oh my
we're
gosh,
all
yes.
about, we're zen. So, before each meeting, we're like, "We're gonna breathe.
We
We're gonna
stay busy
breathe."
in nonprofits, yeah.
Yeah, we stay busy. So, like, at each meeting, we're gonna be like, "Hey, we gotta center ourselves first before we even do this." So,
Mhm.
yeah, take your mat to work. Take your mat to work day, you know?
No, I think something you just said though is so important, right? It may not necessarily be at taking your actual mat to work, but I think we can start to maybe even challenge some of those norms of when we are going into meetings instead of just immediately sitting down and jumping into the meat of the meeting. We can say, "You know what, you guys? It's been a wild last couple of weeks. We've been busy. Everybody's been working so hard. Let's take some collective deep breaths. Like, really be intentional in setting the tone for that meeting and
Mhm.
engaging in a team mindfulness activity, or even just giving people space to talk about the weeks that they've had can be so helpful, I think.
Mm.
Normalizing the human side of work could be a game changer in people feeling a little bit better about their mental health.
Yeah, for sure. And even if you're in those corporate spaces that maybe like, it's just not a thing, right? That whole
Mhm.
having a moment, 15 minutes to yourself, if you start the meeting with 60 seconds of silence, right?
Yeah.
You're just like, your whole body is going to reset,
Yeah.
those hormones, the stressors, what we've talked about, cortisol in the last couple of episodes, that stress hormone, your whole body's going to go ahead and elevate itself and really just
Mm.
calm down, right? And you got to calm down to let your body normalize. That's the word I was looking for.
Mhm.
To
Mhm.
normalize, right? I've heard people be like, "Well, that's a little hippy dippy," and I'm like,
Mhm.
it is and it isn't. Like, it's literally
Mhm.
human for us to need to slow down,
Yeah.
get your heart rate to slow down, and then you'll get that oxygen to your brain, and guess what? You'll work better.
Mhm.
So the science is there, and
Mhm.
yeah, starting your meeting off or your group team thing going on. All right, 60 seconds, guys. Let's just take a moment,
Mhm.
get some breaths in, and then just get into the meat and potato of whatever you're doing.
Mhm. I I heard about this interesting thing one time, actually on TikTok, and it was someone who was posting about how they had moved their family to Vietnam. So they moved from America to Vietnam, and they said that, there was a culture shock, obviously, just being in a different country, but one of the things that they were like, "Yes, it was a culture shock, but also it has been a game changer even for our overall mental health," is that they noticed there that people, yes, they go to work and like that's important, but they actually prioritize like human connection over and like slowing down over going to work. So like when you are going to work, it's not uncommon for you to see people who are literally just kind of slowing down and like, "You know what? I need to go have breakfast right now." And then they go eat before work. Like, and
Mhm.
so they're making sure that they prioritize their personal side so that then they're ready to go into the workplace. And they said it was such a shift for us because we came from a culture of, no, we got to get to work. We're always late, going to work, that we had neglected ourselves for so long that we had to retrain our brains and retrain our habits to make sure that we were basically being present in the moment and
Mhm.
stopping to have those conversations with strangers who were just wanting to have a friendly conversation with us
Yeah.
about things. And I was like, I love that so much.
Mhm.
And I think it is a cultural shift. So
Yeah. It
maybe
is.
you can be the trendsetter in your workplace of
Yeah.
slowing people down.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, it's so different from our workplace, like just America's
Mhm.
workplace culture. And that whole you get up in the morning and you're like, zip, 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 zip. I gotta get my
Mhm.
water, I gotta grab my lunch, I gotta get my coffee. If you don't hit all those marks, all your check boxes before you get into the car and you're in the road, it'll ruin your whole freaking
Mhm,
day.
mhm,
Like, and that's so sad, like
mhm,
just being able to give yourself a moment in the morning to like really center yourself and being intentional about what your body needs, what your mind needs to get through the day
mhm,
and whatever that might be, might
mhm,
change the game for you, you know.
mhm.
I know it has for me.
I think another thing that comes to mind too, when we're trying to talk about we're kind of focusing on workplace stuff, right? Because that's what we like to talk about on this show. But one thing that I think is also helpful, and Megan and I have talked about this before, just because of our own experience. But yes, your workplace might be a terrible environment, and you're kind of stuck there. But find your person, find your group. Maybe there is a small little group of people that you can have that connection with, and you can take a little break with them and say, "Hey, why don't we grab lunch together? Why don't we?" Or I noticed that neither one of us are in a meeting right now. Could we just have a quick little chat and vent real quick about our day so far? Because that's also you building some belonging and connection with people that you can go through the workplace with.
Mhm.
And I know for Megan and I, that was I'm projecting a little bit just because Megan and I have talked so much about this, but I think for both of us, that was a really vital aspect of us taking care of our mental health. Even though we weren't in the best place mentally, I wasn't,
Mm.
it was still that moment that I was able to center myself because I knew even though I was walking into a crappy environment, I knew that I had Megan. Even if we weren't gonna agree on a project or whatever, like, that's natural because we're
Yeah,
different
Maddie. The
people.
hell? No.
But I knew that Megan and I would still be able to have, like, a respectful conversation when we had a disagreement about a certain project or something, and we would still be able to go and have our little coffee break and forget about it because it was
Yeah.
work, and we were
Mhm.
able to set it aside and be like, "Okay, we came up with something that we both like. Let's go for it."
Mhm. Yeah.
So, I know for me, that was a game changer, and we hear a lot of people sometimes we have listeners on the show that are part of some great organizations who also have the employee resource groups, some ERGs. And that also is, I think, probably helpful for them to have those connections with people who have shared interests,
Mindsets, yeah.
mindsets. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And I think, having that support system, whether it's, like a colleague support system, maybe it's not
Mhm.
even people at your work, maybe it's like old coworkers that are in your field,
Yeah.
and you're still
Mhm.
able to like vent to them what you're experiencing because
Mhm.
they know the field that you're in.
Mhm.
But there's so many, like, social groups coming out, you've got, like, the Finn's Place Co-working, you've got the DSQO. There's so many, like, queer social support groups or not even support groups, they're just social groups. They're
They're
just, like
community
they're
groups.
community, yeah, and, like, I think a lot of us are trying to search for that sense of community.
Mhm.
But also understanding, like, maybe the people around us aren't always the healthiest people to be around us. If you're feeling, like, "Man, every time I'm, like, hanging out with this crew, I'm just
I'm
wasted, I'm
exhausted.
exhausted." Like, because either you're
Yeah.
trying to be something that you're not when you have to put on that whole new face, that whole new
Yeah, like a
persona.
facade.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
facade, and even they might be part of the queer community, but maybe it's just like it just doesn't click. If you're
Mhm.
finding that you're exhausted with a certain social group, maybe find those who don't exhaust you and spend a
Mhm.
little more time with them and kind of make that shift of identifying where those healthy relationships are. And it's okay if, sometimes it's okay that maybe this little group exhausts you, but maybe we got to tone that one down and then find the
Mhm.
healthier ones a little bit more. Because right now there's just so much going on. If you have everything around you exhausting you, I can't imagine. So being able to find your support system, and I think that like over the last few episodes, has really got me thinking as far as like what we can do for each other and support each
Mhm.
other um,
Mhm.
throughout
I
this
do
the whole thing.
yeah, I do think that was kind of like a secondary theme. Everyone that we talked to talked about the importance of having community when you're navigating mental health, trauma, hard things. Having those people in your corner that can help uplift you, support you. And so yeah, I think it's vital for us right now to be identifying our support systems that are healthy, that we feel are gonna continue to help us grow. into who we are. And it doesn't always mean that it has to be people who agree with us on everything 100% of the time, because
Mm,
we're all different, we're all unique, we all have different experiences. But it's people that are gonna be in your corner and support you in
yeah.
life. So, figuring out who those people are and what you need to do, I think, to be the best version of yourself and uplift others, I think is so important right now as we all navigate this dumpster fire.
Seriously. It is a dumpster fire.
Um, is
And
it? I feel like dumpster fires are more contained.
yeah, this is a wildfire.
This is a wildfire.
Mhm.
We talked about meetings, having people, like how we can incorporate some of those little activities, making sure that you have even stuff in your space, whether you are in a cubicle, an office space, but having things that bring you joy. I know for me, when I'm in an office space, I do like to have some of my personal items around me. A picture of my wife, because I love her. I also like to have those fidget stress balls, y'all. Get a stress ball, get a Neato, get you some stuff that you can, when someone comes and says something terrible to you, or you have opened your computer and you've seen the next little fire that has popped up in our society, and you are feeling some sort of way about it. Get you something that will help take your mind off of it, because, and I think we've talked about this before, if we do not take some time to even unplug and just stop seeing all of the fires, it's going to consume us. And so we do have to, I think, be intentional about taking time away from our technology. And I say that as someone who has to also remind myself of that sometimes.
Speaking of that, I will
Mhm.
go ahead, segue. So I have seen a trend of people going analog. Have you seen this?
Mm-mm.
So, like, they are essentially they're going back to, I mean, I know people already have e-readers, but the e-readers have evolved in the last like 10, 15 years. They're tablets
Mhm.
now, right? So
Mhm.
you can go
Mhm.
on the internet, you can whatever. But they're going back to like the paper e-readers where just the little gray thingies. They're going back to the Zunes and the little audio players. So like if you want to listen to
Mhm.
music, you're not picking up your phone.
Mhm.
I know a lot of people like to use the calendars and stuff, but I have someone close to me who has been journaling a lot and using a planner, and it's like
Mhm.
their own planner in which they have stencils for, and they have a legend. It's a whole thing. So if you're feeling that maybe I'm tired of seeing that AI icon everywhere, okay?
Oh my
I'm
gosh,
especially
yes.
freaking tired of it. And you're tired of your phone always trying to like I'm looking at my phone and I'm like, why is this in my hand? Why is this in my hand? I don't even want to look at it. So maybe you got to
Mhm.
go analog, and pick up like a paper book, go to half price books. No, I'm not trying, no sponsorship there, but like go to a local bookstore, pick up a book, maybe get an e-reader, something that doesn't connect to the internet so that your hands go to something that's feeding you rather than draining
Mhm.
you,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm. Mhm.
But yeah, I have seen apparently there's like stuff all over Reddit.
Um,
Yeah, and I find that healthier. I mean, it's definitely taken away that part where it's like I don't have to be in front of the TV and I don't have like if my phone is on the side of, like that's why I haven't been texting as much is because frankly I'm just not near my phone like if I have
yeah.
other stuff to do. So I think it has definitely shifted my mind back to a place where I feel more in control
Mhm.
of what I'm doing moment for moment.
Well, it's like one of those things, it definitely, I think some people can find it to be helpful for them, right? Because they might have certain things on there that help them with their mental health, whether it's
Mhm.
a calming app or a game that helps them de-stress, whatever the case. But on the flip, it can also be a way to increase our feelings of anxiety, our feelings of depression, our feelings of stress, whatever, because everything is so available at our fingertips. Even if you're using social media to help you unwind, chances are high that your algorithm is not just going to feed you the stuff that helps you, it's also going to feed you the stuff that makes you stressed out. So, yeah, I think finding ways to maybe even reset our boundaries around technology
Mhm.
could be helpful. Once you listen to the episode, then you can just say, "You know what? I'm gonna unplug." That was I need to reflect on the conversation of the show.
Yeah, Megan and Maddie, I'm tired of y'all.
No, they can
No,
never be tired of us.
that's right. Yeah,
So
that was
make sure you're logged in enough to listen to the episode, but then set it aside.
set it aside. Yeah, I mean, I'm just pulling up some fast facts.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
40% of LGBT adults are experiencing rejection from a family member or close friend. They are twice as likely than heterosexual adults to experience a substance use or mental health
Mm-hmm.
condition. Like, these are
Mm-hmm.
real things that are happening to
Yeah.
half of us, right? And it's so easy for us to be, spiral into our doom brains. But
Our doom brains, yeah.
yeah, that's the best way I could describe it. But yeah, I mean, we've got to find alternative ways to fuel ourselves without
Mm.
sacrificing our mental health, without sacrificing the relationships, your
Mm-hmm.
work-life balance, and frankly, like, I mean, it affects your heart health. It affects the way
Mm-hmm.
we are eating, the way we're sleeping. Like, it's not just your brain. Okay. I'm like, I drank coffee this morning, y'all. I'm drinking coffee right now. So even talking about this, I'm like, I'm gonna
No,
go
there
drink some
is.
tea
It's so
after
true
this.
though. There is a correlation though with, earlier in the week I was seeing actually someone post on LinkedIn. It was an organization and they were posting about a presentation they had just done about workplace mental health. And I reposted it and just said mental health and mental wellness conversations belong in every conversation. And I think for so long we've made them sort of a side thing, like, oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. But y'all, if you feel like crap physically, you're not going to feel good mentally. And the word mental health doesn't necessarily mean that you have a mental health disorder or that you have a severe mental illness. Mental health is just our state of well-being. And right now, a lot of us are struggling with that. Yes, some of us do have mental health disorders like myself, but other people don't, and they still are like, I feel like crap too. Does that mean that I have a mental illness? No, it just means that maybe we need to do some things to invest in our mental well being. And perhaps once we start feeling a little bit better mentally, you might notice that you are able to sleep better at night,
Yeah.
that you are
I
reducing some of those headaches that you have,
mhm.
that maybe your appetite is back. I know for me, when I'm having a really rough patch, I struggle with eating.
Ugh.
I'm like, "No, I'm not hungry," because I'm so stressed out, I can't even eat.
I'm the opposite. I'm like, I'm so
And
stressed
then
out. I'm gonna stuff my
yeah.
face until I literally am in pain
Mhm.
and have acid reflux for the next 3 days. And I'm like,
Mhm.
why did I eat all that pizza?
I know.
And it's, yeah,
But yeah, so if we're doing things to take care of ourselves mentally, then we will also see that our overall wellness is also feeling better.
yeah. And, Maddie, you really brought this. I'm just going to bring this up. I did see a New York Times opinion by Iowa Aftab where they are basically saying we're thinking about mental health diagnosis all wrong, right? We often think about it as like, I've been diagnosed with this. This are all the things I'm experiencing. I've been
Mhm.
diagnosed with this. These are all the things. And especially with social media, you see like the ADHD memes, you see the
Mhm.
bipolar memes, and it's like, yes, it has kind of like normalized this conversation, but it has also like made us believe that we fall into categories when it comes to
Mhm.
mental health. But what they're saying, for decades, the public conversation about mental health has been routed in the categories of diagnostic and statistical manual of mental health disorders, right? So you're talking of the DSM, the American
Mhm.
Psychiatric Association, an official compilation of psychiatric disorders. But system-based categories have been convenient for professional communication, insurance billing, conducting clinical trials, but they have given us the false impression that each mental health disorder is a distinct problem with clear boundaries and an essence
Mhm.
that makes it what it is, right? That doesn't mean that psychiatric diagnoses are meaningless labels or arbitrary symptom collections. They are practical tools that provide a shared language to describe real patterns of distress and impairment that can help shape treatment. And when I read that from them, I was like, it's so real because you go into therapy and you're like, I'm just trying to figure out what's going on with me. And it's like they tell you it's not that simple, right? Mental health is a spectrum of things that you could be
Mhm.
going through, a spectrum diagnosis of like you could have multiple things or mental health conditions that you're facing. So it's not just this path of treatment that is just like it is A B C D E F G.
Mhm.
It's a whole broad, and I think we talked about that with Amanda with Room for Change.
Yeah.
It's like,
It's unique to everybody, and you can have a mental health challenge, right? You can be going through something and not have a mental health condition, but still need that person maybe to talk to about it, to help you process those things. And yes, maybe some of it does end up being something a little bit higher level where it is a disorder, but it could just be you're going through a rough patch and you just need someone to help you get over that hurdle.
hmm
And I think that's the big thing, even as a social worker, that I try to highlight with people is that we don't have to be scared of that word mental health. And we need to do our part as a society to reduce the stigma around it because there are so many people that are living with various mental health challenges that are going through a hard time. There are so many people that are struggling to cope with various things and might be looking for that. And us sort of making a joke or making light of it. For some people, that might be helpful. But for us to not take it serious and really encourage them to talk about that and explore that, we're doing a disservice because there's no shame in needing to talk to someone about it. And there's no shame in you sometimes saying, you know what? I need to take a break.
yeah.
I'm a big fan every time I hear about workplaces who have, like, their regular sick days, and then they're like, "And we also provide our staff with mental health
hmm
days." And obviously, you can't take a mental health day every day.
Or like once
So
a week is probably pushing it too.
so they do place kind of boundaries around how
Yeah.
often you can use them, but I think it's important to say, like, your sick days, that also includes if you just need a mental health day where you need to just have a self-care
hmm
day where you
Yeah.
aren't thinking about work.
Yeah. I have actually worked for a company that would cure your sick time, but then you also had an
Mhm,
accrued mental health day time
mm,
so that you're not having to use your sick days. Like maybe your sick
mhm.
days are like for or maybe you're using your mental health days for your mental health appointments and you're like, I just need to
Yeah.
use 30 minutes, right? Or whatever it might be.
Mhm,
But yeah, I super love that because you feel you're already separating, right? So like physical illness, which
mhm,
is its own like whole thing, and then your mental health, which is like, man, my body just needs a freaking break because I can't focus. Those days that you
mhm,
don't focus, like those are the days you need to slow down and take that mental health break.
mhm, mhm.
So, seeing companies do that and seeing orgs that do that, I think is definitely something we should normalize and do more
Yeah.
often.
Just do it. Don't argue
Just do
with
it.
us.
Yeah.
Just do it.
We know what we're talking about.
Yeah. So I think what we can sort of take away is that we love mental health. We love talking about mental health.
Yeah.
There's a lot of resources out there in our community. Find your people and get support when you need it.
Yeah. TLDR,
Yeah, just all of the things.
all of the things right there.
All of the things.
Yeah.
So, great chat today. Wait, what a great way to wrap up our mental health month. We've been talking about
Stay tuned. Our second podcast anniversary is coming up for the month of June. We haven't
woo
quite decided
woo.
what we want to do. We may work in
Mhm.
collab with something, but stay tuned. We'll probably have it at the end of June. It'll likely be a happy hour time, something really relaxed that we can do with maybe some of your coworkers. Bring your coworkers along.
Yeah, just another little get together to build community and celebrate those of you that have been with us since the very beginning, those of you that have just now joined us, and people who haven't joined us yet but are going to.
For our future friends. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So fun. Well, Maddie, I feel really good that we had this conversation. I hope you guys are able to take some of the things, whether you take one small piece of what we've been talking about this past month in our episodes and just, don't make it big. Just one tiny little goal will go a long way
Mhm.
to make yourself happy. So I'm rooting for you. I
I
really am.
know. I know. Unfortunately, I am out of coffee for today.
Same.
So that is our cue to wrap up. But yeah, it was a great chat. I love it. So thank you, listeners, for joining us today. Be sure to subscribe to the show if you have not already.
Be sure you stay connected with us on our socials. Let's continue the conversation. We would love to hear about your questions or your experiences navigating the workplace.
Yes. And also feel free to share with us stuff that you're doing to support your mental health in the workplace. We would love to hear those stories as well. But for sure, connect with us on social media. You can find us on Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, Threads, and also Patreon, where we will sometimes share exclusive content or extended episodes of some of our favorite conversations. Thanks again for joining us for another great episode of Not a Lonely Coffee Break. We hope to see you next time. Again, we are your hosts. I'm Maddie.
And I'm Meaghan. Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers.
Cheers.